and Hank Mardukas.
Hey, good morning to you. Welcome in. It's 7 minutes after 9 o'clock. This is 93.1 and the Mighty 1190. Wesley Keziah joins us with, along with Grayson Presley this morning. How you doing, Wesley?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
Man, we've had you in here before. I don't think we've spoke with Grayson before. How are you, Grayson? Doing well, doing well. Now, Archie, you were talking about, and we'll talk about the entirety of it, but you were just talking about containers, big container things you had.
One of the needs at Ground 40,
mm-hmm.
and I want to get ahead of the game, but let's first talk about Ground 40.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about the needs.
Yes, sir.
So, explain about Ground 40. It was founded, several years ago?
Yes, sir. Jason Christopher Guffey actually founded it. Him and his wife, Monica, they
mm-hmm.
just kind of, Jason got out of, some trouble that he was in and found out there was a need
mm-hmm.
to help guys transition back into the community.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of places are too spiritual and a lot of places are too practical. So he come up with the idea to do it both spiritual and practical.
Yeah.
So how do you apply the Bible to your life? That's what we're trying to do with these guys. How do you practically apply a biblical worldview in a fallen world? So that's what we try to do with these guys to get them back on track, get them back on their feet.
All these guys have addiction issues.
Addiction, some of them, yes, some of them no. They just made some poor decisions in life,
okay.
And one felony will strike you almost off any job.
That's the absolute truth. Yeah. I mean, you're fighting a losing battle,
and you get caught in this circular
mm-hmm.
trap of what do I do next?
Well, it's obviously working.
Oh,
I mean, whatever.
We're the best.
It's obviously working.
And you've recently been named executive director?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Yes, sir.
What was your title part of that?
Operations director.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot more phone calls now. That's about the only change.
So you're doing what you always did, just having to talk to more people.
What's impressive about these guys, and they'll certainly tell you themselves, they came from a place that not many people come out of.
Oh, yes, sir. It's called a radical conversion the other day by a secular counselor, radical conversion. And then also a Christian counselor called me the same thing. I said, I don't think this is too radical for a Christian. I think this is what's supposed to be the norm.
Yeah, like that's supposed to be what happens.
There's supposed to be something, some kind of change in their
life. A new creature.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a new creature.
Yeah, this is the normal, but everybody thinks it's radical.
Well, and now it is.
Yeah.
I mean, in today's society, it is radical.
World.
It is a different world.
We live in. So how many men can you house now?
20 men.
20
men at the farm. So our farm is the 120-day program. We get the guys out of prison, out of recovery centers, and we start to help the transition process with the 120 days. After that steps the restoration house. We can house 12 men. We're actually looking for another house now that would be affordable to us because we're busting at the seams.
Yeah.
Okay, well, the sad thing are the numbers.
Yes.
You're turning guys away every day.
Absolutely. At least 10.
There's just nowhere to put them.
A day?
10. We don't turn them away. We put them on a list. I don't like to use, I used the term earlier with you, Archie, but it's not, it is turning them away.
Yeah.
Because in this ministry, there's a small window of opportunity that somebody sees, hey, I want to do something different.
That's a good point because you're right. There's that. I guess it'd be like what they call a moment of clarity. It don't last but so long.
No, it doesn't last but so long, and the urgency to get help doesn't last but so long.
Yeah.
Also,
so if you had 100 more beds, you could fill them up now, couldn't you?
If we had 100 beds, we'd still have a waiting list.
God almighty.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it.
That's sad.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things going on, and it's just because of how it works. You got all these guys, and they need a restroom, they need showers, and it's pretty tight over there. These guys are trying to get ready to go to work, go to church.
The uncommon thing though with a bunch of men is they don't complain about that.
Yeah.
There was a need the other day that a man needed to come in, and they moved their beds around. We didn't ask them. They knew that the guy needed to come in. They went and moved their beds around. Said we could fit one more.
Now,
man, that's humbling.
What are the facilities like?
We have 2 showers, 2 toilets, 2 sinks.
Yeah.
A mother came out for one of the guys who are the disciples that are in the program, and she just said she wanted to do more. And she has started her own campaign.
Yeah.
And she is doing incredible things. Ren Farmer.
Yeah.
She
I know Ren. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I love her so
Ren's
much.
fantastic.
Yeah.
But but what's being worked on now is to take I want to call it a trailer.
Cargo container.
Cargo
container.
Yep.
And retrofit it
Yes, sir.
to be a bathhouse.
Yes, sir.
And tell me what all you can fit in there with ease?
Yeah, we could fit 4 showers, 4 toilets, 4 sinks, and 2 washers and 2 dryers in there.
So a bathhouse.
Comfortably. It's a bathhouse.
Yeah.
It's like a camp bathhouse.
Mm-hmm.
But since we are expanding so rapidly, we wanted it in something that was mobile.
Mm-hmm.
So in case we wanted to add more or move things around, and we found this trailer, and it's $2,000. And then Hughes Supply in Monroe said they would donate all the fixtures for all the plumbing. It was incredible.
Nick is my cousin, and he's
Nick's
a good man.
Man, he's an incredible guy.
He
man.
really is.
Yeah.
Now,
People are really stepping up.
Yes, they are.
Now, Grayson, how are you involved with the program?
So I started volunteering back in April 27th. I quit my job at a car dealership. Started volunteering with Wesley. I've known Wesley for about 3 years.
You look like a used car salesman.
I get that a lot. I've always had the call to ministry, and I met Wesley about 3 years ago. The first thing I said to Wesley, I don't know why, but God is going to put us together for some reason. And 3 years later,
here we are.
I start volunteering. Really just dedicated about 8 months of time, energy, effort, and just pouring into these guys. I grew up in an addicted family. I never suffered with addiction, but I grew up around it my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then Wesley gets promoted. I got asked to come on board by Wesley, and now I'm the operations director.
Yeah.
He's the executive director, and we are like peanut butter and Spam.
Yeah, we don't go together very well. It's our I did a lot of years in incarceration and addiction. I've never really dealt with this world that he's in with the computers and technology and all these things, and he just does all those things that I can't do, like scheduling for me.
What one hand washes the other.
Yeah, absolutely,
Exactly right.
absolutely.
No, that's God has a way of putting stuff
Absolutely.
together that don't
Yeah.
work,
That's
but it
exactly
works
right.
when it's.
It's incredible to me the things that this. I mean, he's 28 years old, 29 years old, and his capacity to
Whippersnapper.
to do things on the computer and to get things scheduled up and lined up with the guys and is.
Well,
I just couldn't do it without this guy.
let me ask you, just a thought. It just popped in my mind, and the reason it did is because I know Emory served in the Army, and they were over in Iraq, and they actually were housed in exactly what you're talking about.
We have a military style housing unit.
So I was thinking that those at $2,000 a piece, that's not. That's not a lot of money for something
No,
that
for
you
all
isn't.
that.
Well, see, that's just a bare container.
Yeah, mhm.
So the containers that we get now, we have 3 on the property that house 5 men each.
Yeah.
And they're $360 a month.
Yeah.
But what do you do when you have guys coming in? Do you feel the need, or you just wait until something happens?
No,
So
I
you
know
feel
what
the
you mean.
need.
Yeah.
You feel the need. We have actually went out looking, me and Grayson, and we found some of the tiny houses that would house 10 men comfortably. They're $14,500, and they're paid for. Everything's hooked up. You just bring them to the property, connect them to the power, and you put the guys in them. Or you could build 2 for that price on property. They're incredible the way that they're Amish built.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're high quality, but they're more comfortable than this
No,
trailer
absolutely, that makes sense.
that we have the guys in.
Now-
I love that the guys will go into these trailers.
Yeah.
They humble themselves quickly because they just want somewhere to go. I've had guys tell me they'll stay in a tent out there, and listen, I would let them.
Yeah.
I would let them because I know that God has ordained that land, and I know that He's doing some phenomenal things out there. But unfortunately, that's what Grayson is here for. He's here to be the logical one.
All right, so there's actually 2 different places. Let's talk about that.
Yes, sir.
You have the farm.
Well, we have a 3-step process. Wednesday nights at Lee Park, we have a meeting at 6:30, which has been going on for almost 3 years now. Me and Joni Jones, who was actually the director of the House of Pearls, actually came together and we started that. And that's where we meet these people at. We meet them here, these people. That's where we meet. The need is Wednesday night at Lee Park at 6:30 in the chapel. We just start out with building a relationship, building trust. Then we have the farm. It's the 120-day program. We go into the jails. I get to go back in the Union County Jail and actually get ready for these guys when they're exiting, go into the prisons and do all these things to get guys lined up when they're ready to exit. The problem is the guys in jail, we know when they're coming out. We have the plan for that. the guys that just walk up to the farm. We had one walk up the other day, and he just pleaded his case with us. We said, you know what, you go to CRC in Monroe, which is crisis recovery, and they've been so helpful to us to take these guys in, help them get detox medically, and then upon their release, they come to the farm. Now they're level-headed, they're clear-minded.
Yeah.
And we're not like any other ministry. The farm, when I was a heroin addict, I bankrupted my mother.
Yeah.
There was no money to pay for any kind of help or any kind of recovery center.
Yeah.
So we're by donation only. I mean, Jesus told us to come freely. How are we going to put a price tag on somebody's life or somebody's sobriety? And it really
we'll help you for this
pains me
amount of money. Yeah.
Yeah.
that we benefit, our community and our society benefits off the misfortune of other people.
Yeah.
Oh, you won't help? Well, that's going to cost you.
Yeah. No, that's
So what happens at the farm?
The farm, we have 7 o'clock is our wake-up call. These guys get up. They have the responsibility to clean in the area in their pots. Not a lot of responsibility for that. Then we go have breakfast at 7:30. Mr. Clayton came into the program almost 9 months ago. Superseded what anybody could imagine this man doing. He came in at about 131 pounds, and now he is our full-time cook.
Mm-hmm.
And will not take payment. Just wants to give back to these guys. Super awesome guy. So they start their day about 7:30 with breakfast. They have free time after that to wash their faces up, get their teeth cleaned, all that. And then we start our day with Bible study at 8:45. Mr. Early comes in every morning at 8:45, shares the gospel with these guys, teaches them how to practically apply it to their life. And then we start our working hours at 10 o'clock from 10 to 12. We don't slave drive these guys, but we do have a farm that is fully functioning. So we work, and each guy has their own responsibilities.
Yeah.
12 o'clock we eat lunch. 12:30 we go back to work, and they work till about 4 o'clock.
So what all type of farm is it?
Okay, so we have pigs, we have calves, we have chickens.
Yeah.
We have lumber, a sawmill machine. They cut lumber. They get firewood ready. And the firewood's not just for us. There's widows in our neighborhood that they can't cut their own firewood.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, what do? You're going to sell some lumber to a widow?
Yeah.
No, that's not what we're called to do.
Yeah.
Not what we're called to do.
Do you sell the animals? Do you?
No.
No.
We're self-sustaining.
We like them.
Yeah. So we lack a lot of times breakfast and lunch meat.
Yeah.
And on the
We'll let your mind wander.
yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, you got 20 guys. Breakfast and lunch meats go very quickly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's the, what'd you say, 120 day?
120 day
program
program.
at the farm?
Yes, sir.
And then
Restoration. So restoration, we have Stephen Brinson over there. He's actually kind of maintains that property. It's a 6 month to a year program where we help these guys transition. We don't take them over there and say, good luck. I hope everything works out well for you. We actually try to connect them with landlords because some of these guys have felons and they have charges that most landlords don't want to take them.
Yeah.
So we try to find landlords who have good houses, not slum houses.
Yeah.
So these guys can really get back into society, really become beneficial. Because if you stick some of these guys back into the world that they came out of,
They're going to go right back.
they're going to go right back.
Yeah.
Even after the program.
Even
They're gonna
after
go.
the program.
You know, it's funny because they say the verbiage they use is they say you've paid your debt to society, but you actually hadn't.
No.
Because when you get out, if you've paid your debt, you would be able to go to work or get an apartment and all this kind of stuff. But you really don't.
I still have, with all the Lord's allowed me to do, I still have people give me a judgmental eye.
Oh,
Even
I'm
in the
sure.
church.
I'm
Even
sure.
in the church.
Listen, I'm certain
Yeah.
of it.
I mean, that's just human nature.
It is
That's
human nature.
that's just people.
You know?
You-
It is.
Yeah, it's just
That's
people.
like it's.
Everybody's ready to throw that stone.
It's always
Lord
been
gave
it's
them.
always been amazing to me that there's a lot of churches that don't want no sinners in them.
That's right. Hey, listen.
Is that the whole point?
That is the whole point, man. Wow, that's good. They
But
don't want the riffraff in
They're
here.
really they'll look like, wait a minute, he's not wearing a suit. That's
Yeah, well, he's
what
got
kind
a
of
hat
guy
on.
is he?
He's
You
got a
know?
hat on.
Well, that's a testament to Lee Park.
Yeah.
I love it, man. Listen, the very first Sunday I went there, I sat down. It's crazy. I sat down. My mentor said, go find a church that'll hold you accountable. I'll never forget it. Pastor Kit Latta grabbed me. I was walking back out. I was like, this is too much for me. I was kind of overwhelmed.
Yeah, I'm out.
He took me to the second seat, on the second row, and I sat there, didn't even listen to Pastor Chris's sermon because I was so concerned about everybody else.
Everybody looking at me, yeah.
All these people. Yeah. And the truth is Pastor Chris came off the stage, very
Yep.
first time I ever went there and asked me if I was new there, wanted to know my name,
Yeah.
wanted to know my story. And I think that was a revelation to me that, listen, some people really do care.
Yeah.
Some people are legitimate in this. So I stuck around for a little bit, and now I do their addiction ministry there. It's really blown up.
Yeah.
Have you say, to have an addiction ministry at a Baptist church on a Wednesday night,
Yeah.
and people show up for it
Yeah. No,
without
that's true.
fear of judgment or condemnation is incredible.
Yeah.
Is incredible.
Well, there's a lot of things that don't make any sense, but I love the whole learn how to apply it in a practical way, because that's and this is true of most churches. I'm not criticizing them, it's just how it works. But most of the time when you go to church, it's always the pastor saying what he's going to say, and then you figure it out from there.
Good luck with that.
You know, here's what the Bible says. Now go figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, they need to be
Listen, you
got to be shown.
Listen,
you know?
some guys, you got to teach them how to drink the water. They
Yeah.
always say you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. But you
Yeah.
can teach them how to drink it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You can teach. You got to teach some of us. I
Yeah.
mean, I had a
Now,
childlike faith.
when you first came out, came out of incarceration and being addicted, was Ground 40 open for you? Is that how you came to it?
Sir. Actually, I went to the shelter, the Union County shelter. I had nowhere else to go. Ground 40 was just now, I think, starting in Charlotte at
Yeah.
the time that I came out. I'm almost 100% sure that me and Guffey started our first transitional housing the same year.
Yeah.
He fortunately had a 501c3. My first halfway house, transitional house, I didn't have a 501c3. I was just really putting a lot of faith in people,
Yeah.
hoping that they would want to share without getting a tax refund, because I didn't have anything.
Yeah.
I just had the vision.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't have any connections.
So where
to
did the
GD.
vision? Were you in the shelter when you? I mean, how did all this come
Okay,
about?
so I was in the Union County shelter, and I met Kathy Bragg like my third day
Yeah.
there. She was the director,
Kathy's a
and
good woman. Yep.
she really just was so loving to me and didn't look down on me. We sat
Yeah.
down in some chairs, and she looked at me eye to eye.
Mhm.
And you know, all the other help over there from Melissa.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they were just so kind to me. Rachel sat me down in a chair, and she said, "You got to do this, and here's how you got to do it." And nobody ever sat down and said, "This is how you have to do it."
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So I felt this need and this urgency to help other guys. So I went and talked to them, and I said, "I feel like the Lord wants me to start a halfway house." And they said they would support me in that, which was
Really?
insane to me that somebody would support somebody with my
Yeah.
background.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They said they couldn't support me financially, but they could give me all the advice. And when my guys were at the house, they would help them do their counseling for them, where they should get a bank account,
Yeah.
how they should get things started. So that really tied me really close to the shelter. I'm now on the board at the shelter, which is incredible. I mean, I know I'm probably the slackest board member because I have so much going on, but they extend so much grace to me, and I really love the way that they'll hold guys for us over there. If I send somebody over there, because we just don't have the space, they're so welcoming to
Yeah.
our guys to come over there. I love the way that ministries and nonprofits can work together in this community, because it's very rare. We always
Yeah.
feel like we're in this competition for donors.
Competition, yeah. Right.
You know, listen, the Lord owns 1,000 cattle on 1,000 hills. We don't have to be the only one that the Lord gives to.
Yeah.
And we see that.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to the whole. If everybody would just work together, it would all work out. You know, everything.
John
would work.
Fagala over at Soul to Soul, man, I have never met another guy from a nonprofit who was so willing to help us
Oh, yeah.
out.
John's
He
good
calls
people.
me all the time. Do your guys need work boots? Do
I
your
talked to
guys
him this week over at the gym, and you know, I know y'all are in the process of working on a fundraiser, and John's like, you know, people think about competition. It's it's totally different. Why can't we work together?
Why can't? Yeah, I love his heart, man. He is such a great guy. And he's,
that whole soul to soul thing is blown
Yeah.
up too.
I just listen. If anybody's ever been called to full time ministry, it's that guy right there.
That's true. I agree.
It's that guy.
What's the most, before we run out of time, what is the most immediate need that y'all have right now?
Right now, so we're raising the funding for the bathhouse. So our immediate need is always monetary. You know, finances are always there. We got to pay bills. We got to pay the power. We got to pay for these guys to come in. We like to be able to have some money set aside so when the breakfast meats and the lunch meats don't come in. But then you have
you're paying for those containers.
Oh,
too.
yeah, we're paying for those containers monthly, and we don't charge these guys to come in. How are you going to charge a heroin addict to come in? They don't have
any money.
They don't have any money. You tell them to go take out a loan and put them in a bind?
Yeah.
Do you know what happens to a heroin addict when he's stressed out about finances?
He
He does what he does best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And they probably exhausted all those
They've
loan
exhausted.
opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, go ahead,
I think
Grayson.
on the practical side too, and I tell Wesley all the time, we're not going to find two more guys like us, most likely, that are willing to sacrifice everything and put their boots on and get dirty. Everybody wants to help, but they don't want to put their boots on.
Yeah. They want to be management first day, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
So the monetary is a huge thing because we are going to need help. Wesley and I can't manage, 40 guys. We can't do that. So we need help. We need a staff. We have to have a staff.
Yeah.
And we've been doing this together for going on 8 months, and it's hard. Our families have had to sacrifice, probably more so than us, and we just need help. That's the main thing. Volunteers, even.
Yeah, people who here's the problem with the volunteer, and I'll just say it because I love the ministry and I protect the men who are in the ministry.
Right.
What has happened in the past with ministries that I've been involved with, ministries that I've found, is people will come in there for a few days and then they disappear. So
You mean volunteers?
yes, like these guys have bonded a relationship. They're looking for somebody that they can look up to because usually they have.
You think it was
adult-
overwhelming for the volunteer?
It can be.
Absolutely.
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 So what we do, if you go to our website, ground40.com, it's ground40.com, there's a volunteer tab, and you just go fill out pretty much an information form. It emails me directly. And then what we do is we sit down. We had an interview with a young man the other day, wants to help. We're very direct in what goes on. It is a little bit overwhelming. It can be.
Yeah.
I bet.
Is
You mentioned the website. Is
Yeah.
that the best place to go as far as the fundraising thing?
You can actually go to ground40.com or go to follow us on Facebook, Ground40 on Facebook, and there's a donation place right there. Or you can just call us direct. It's 704-883-5185, and you can just click on whichever person that you want to, get it connected to. I don't really know how that works. Grayson does all that stuff too.
just push a number and
Push
I'll
a
answer.
number and
So there's separate fundraising campaigns for the bathhouse and then for regular operations?
Yes,
around
sir.
Fort?
Absolutely. I mean, like you said, the need for monetary donations is always there. That's how we sustain ourselves. That's how we sustain the ministry. That's how we're able to do what we do.
Yeah, and hopefully expand.
And
Expand.
not hopefully, we are going.
Yeah, we're
to
gonna
expand.
expand.
It's going to happen.
I mean, the need is
the
there.
need is there for sure.
How many acres is the farm?
It's 13 acres right now. We're hoping for expansion on that.
We're working on that.
Yeah, as well. We're looking for other properties,
Right.
for other restoration houses in Monroe, or similar style to that.
What would you say the success rate is through the program?
Oh man, you'd have to give me a couple years to be honest with you on
Yeah.
that. Right now, I think we're the best.
Yeah.
We don't just have one guy going around sharing a testimony about. I mean, we have several men. That's how you know you're successful. Look at the testimonies that are coming out for the glorification of the kingdom. Not for us, not for Ground 40. It's not about Ground 40.
No.
We just get to be stewards of what God is doing.
Yeah.
He's going to do it. He's going to use somebody.
Yeah.
Why not be open to be used by Him?
Yeah.
Fair to say that House of Pearls and Bridge to Recovery is pretty much the same thing, but for women?
House of Pearls, yeah, absolutely. Same thing for women. I think they're fixing to announce their new director here soon. Unfortunately, Joni stepped down, and they're announcing somebody else. And when they do, we'll support them. That's what we do. Why would we not support?
Yeah.
Why would we not support House of Pearls? We can't take women in. I don't know. I don't even know half the time what my wife thinks.
Right.
That has nothing to do with being an addict. That's just
My wife is so incredible that she wants to help out the House of Pearls. She wants to support us. Here's the problem in our ministries like this is we only focus on the person coming into the ministry. My wife is so incredible in this. She actually reaches out to the wives of the men who are in the ministry and really kind of mentors them, tries to let them know, hey, this is what you need to expect. and we have connections where we can send the whole family to counseling before the men go home.
Right.
I think if it hasn't happened already, and it probably has, but you can tell when God's involved in something genuinely. Have you had a situation yet where somebody came into the program and after they went through the farm or whatever, turns out he's a plumber? Or turns out they're a carpenter. You know what I mean?
We got mechanics and all kinds of stuff
That's what I'm saying.
out there.
It's amazing how that.
It is, and we've got businesses. When these guys are at 90 days, we don't wait till they're at 120 and we say, good luck with your graduation, pat them on the back. These guys have jobs at 90 days. They know where they're going at 90 days.
Yeah.
They're not stressed out about what's next because we transition these men. That's
Yeah.
what we do. We don't just bring them in there, make them feel good for 120 days and pat them on the back. We want these men to succeed.
Yeah.
That's our whole goal in this.
Yeah, I understand.
Speaking of success, I think it's important. The biggest success that we can think of is when they draw their final breath. What legacy did they leave?
Absolutely.
It's not a graduation certificate or anything like that. It's 30 years from now.
What does it look like?
What does their life look
Yeah.
like? That's when you know what success is.
Because we can't save anybody, and there's no ministry going to tell you they can save anybody, but we can preserve life. That's our goal, is to preserve life until they realize they need a Savior, and they put their faith in Jesus Christ, and then they apply that faith to their life. That's what we want to do.
Well, listen, we really appreciate y'all coming in and talking with us, and we absolutely want to keep up with what's going on and help make the announcements when the time's right, and just help where we can.
Archie, I really appreciate y'all having us on here today.
Nice to meet you, Grace.
Nice to meet you.
We'll take a break here. We'll be back with more, y'all.